Welcome back to the We Are Everywhere podcast. This is a very special episode because this is the last episode in the single digits. Didn't think I was going to quit after only 9 episodes. Next episode is number 10, but this episode is number 9. If you want to be the guest on number 10, shoot me an email, sttf.weareeverywhere@gmail.com. Or if you're following us on any of the socials, shoot me a DM there. That's actually how I connected with today's guest, all the way from Colorado. And these are my favorite episodes. We were just talking before we started recording. I've never met this person, and that's kind of the point of this podcast. So like I said, all the way from Colorado, Rachael Wesley. How are you?
You put the pressure on saying it's an extra special episode.
Extra special. Well, you're going to deliver. I know you are, because I always like talking to people, one, that I've never met, and then two, to people that are smarter than me. And I know that you're smarter than me because of what you do. You are a writer, from what I've seen where we connected on Instagram. So let's learn a little bit about you before we get into Phish. Who are you? Where you're from? What you do? What are you writing? Fill us in.
Well, thanks. And then, as I said to you earlier, I can talk. So just give me a cue to wrap things up.
Okay. I'll keep us on track.
But yeah, I'm Rachael. I like to introduce myself. I'm an absolute book and literacy nerd.
Okay.
So anything literacy related, I'm a reading teacher. That's the job that pays me.
Gotcha.
But I've been writing for several years now and hoping to transition into that more professionally.
Cool.
In the near future.
What age do you teach?
So right now I teach 14-year-olds up through 21-year-olds. I teach at an alternative education school. Cool. But I have about 10 years experience teaching little ones, kindergarten, first and second graders.
Very cool.
I kind of bypass, those super hormonal years.
The worst. Yeah. That's awesome. I've never been like a book nerd or like a reader. So like I read like here and there. I've got a bookshelf right here, full of books. And I actually set out on my desk at the beginning of the year. My goal was 1 book per month. And I finished my book for this month. It was a new book. I had to buy it. So because it's so funny. I have a bookshelf full of books. Some of them I've read, some of them I haven't. And I was like, I'm going to start this off and I'm just going to buy a new book. The ones that I have right now aren't good enough. But the one that I read was The Alchemist. Are you familiar with it?
I know it, but I've never read it. Should I read it?
You should. It's a really good read, and it's not long too. I finished it in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, like, it's not like a self-help book because it's a story, but they have those underlying themes in there where it's easy to like get the message. You're like, oh yeah, no, I should follow my dreams. Like it's all woven in the story. It's really good. So check it out. I thought you were going to be like, oh yeah, I know The Alchemist. I know the guy that wrote it. But anyway, I don't want to derail us. Let's keep learning about you. So Colorado, you aren't originally from Colorado. You said you're originally from Pennsylvania.
I'm originally from northeastern Pennsylvania. I grew up about 10 minutes outside of Scranton. So anyone who attends Peach Festival will be very familiar. Montage Mountain is the venue that I grew up on.
Very cool.
It's the venue that got me into this whole scene. And again, just to think of Peach Fest, it's one of my favorite festivals because I get to fit in like a family trip. I get to rage a festival all day, and then I go and crash in my childhood bedroom at night. So like the best festival for me.
Yeah, checking off all the boxes. Like, I'm coming home, seeing all the friends, seeing some music. That's awesome. I've never been to Peach Festival, but every time the lineup comes out, I'm like, oh wow, this would be cool.
It's pretty incredible. As a teacher, I haven't always been able to make it just because of when it fell. But the last couple of years, they moved it up to July, and I've been able to. I have all my friends from home reaching out and, did you get your Peach tickets yet? Did you get your Peach tickets yet? Like, I plan on it, but everything is always contingent on Phish summer tour, right? You can't make any plans until summer tour gets announced.
Yeah. You're like, well, we gotta wait. And
Yeah.
speaking of, we haven't gotten any announcements yet, which I feel like this is kind of late, for a summer tour announcement.
It's, if
I
it's
remember
so
correctly.
weird how, I mean, everything seems so quick anymore and everything always moves up. But I remember even like back in 2013, 2014, waiting until late February or March for tour announcements. But now, we expect it. Like, it's the new year. Give us those dates.
Yeah. And I'm sure that COVID has put somewhat of a, hesitancy on that. But either way, I can't wait to hear what they are. And living in Colorado, I'm certain that you hit Dick's every year.
Yeah. I've been really fortunate. I've been able to do every year since 2013 was my first year.
Gotcha.
Able to do Dick's, and every year since.
Yeah, and
Have
it's
you
like
the experience yet?
Oh yeah. So I'm originally from Oklahoma.
Okay.
And that's where kind of like all of my, or like the main core group of my Phish friends are. And after college, we all kind of, spread out to different places. Some are still in Oklahoma, but Dick's is one of those where we started going as soon as they started playing there. And because it's like a 12-hour drive, like you can't not go. It's basically like a hometown show. And that's just been like our big family reunion. It grows every year. And that's kind of like the destination. Even if you don't hit any other shows of tour, it's like, yeah, we're going to Dick's. Tickets or not, we'll find them when we get there. Like, you're buying the plane ticket, you're going.
You're walking on the wild side with that one in recent years.
Yeah, no, I lucked out. I guess it would have been 2020. I got hit the lottery all 3 nights for field, like on the GA, and then of course it gets postponed. I held on to them, which was great because a lot of my friends had like sell them off, for the cash and stuff. But yeah, we all wound up going and flying in and having a great time. Yeah, Dick's is the one, and it's on my birthday weekend.
Oh,
so it's always and in college I was like that. My parents were like, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, you know what I want for my birthday. You don't even need to ask.
For me, it's like my favorite weekend of the year.
Yeah,
I'm like a kid at Christmas. It's Dick's weekend.
Yeah, it's the new Christmas. I get more excited for that than I do Christmas.
But it's funny that you say that's what you want for your birthday. Or like, so I graduated college in 2004, and I was a summertime graduate. So my ceremony was in early August.
Gotcha.
My parents wanted to know what I wanted for my graduation, and I said it was Coventry. So I, get me Coventry tickets. But it also, Coventry weekend fell on my college graduation. So I skipped my graduation to go to Coventry.
Wow. And that is a perfect segue. You've done this before. You coming for my job? What are you doing? So was Coventry your first show, or was this just one of the ones to where you were like, hey, this is close to my birthday, I want to go?
Yeah. No, it wasn't my first. I said this to an acquaintance last week. I said, I can't believe this came out of my mouth. I am a 2.0er, obviously, since I went to Coventry.
Yeah.
And I'm like a brand new 2.0er, in that my first show was, I missed the New Year's show at the Garden, but was able to get to the Hampton run.
Cool.
So I did the first 2 of the 3 nights in Hampton as my first shows.
Very cool. And so that's you're talking Hampton 03?
Yeah.
Cool.
January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, if memory serves me correctly.
Yep, that is right. There's a really good contact from that night of the 3rd, the encore.
Yeah.
And they go into that little funky like start stop, like where everyone has a turn. It's like 3 solid minutes of just, you would think it was 1997, just straight sludge funk.
That second night, because when that Hampton run happened, I was maybe into Phish for about 1.5 years. I got into them right after the hiatus. Talk about poor timing.
Yeah.
And was listening to a lot of the studio albums. So seeing them for the first time, a lot of those songs and especially in night 2 that I remember, it was my first time hearing them. And I remember the foam. I was like, what is this? I've never heard this before. This is amazing. And Contact, like that was my first time hearing Contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what a good one to hear. It's so funny. I just are you familiar with I'm sure certain that you are, like Phish Radio on Sirius XM?
Mm-hmm.
So I just connected with Ari, and I'm not sure when it's going to air, but I cut a crowd control episode.
Yeah.
And I put that Contact from that show in my set. So
that's going to take me back.
Yeah. So check it out. Sirius XM. Like I said, I don't know when it's going to air, but hopefully soon. Yeah. So knowing that those were your first shows, let's go back to whenever you first heard Phish. Like, what was that moment to where you heard them and you were like, wait, what is this? And then when was that moment where you were like, oh my God, I'm hooked?
I will try not to tell a convoluted story.
Okay.
I'm known for a long story longer.
Okay.
So like I said, give me a signal.
Okay, yeah. If I pull on my, no, you're good. That's what this show's about.
Yeah. So being from the Northeast, Phish was all over my high school, but I will whisper this.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll preface it.
Okay.
I was always really into classic rock. Absolutely obsessed with the Beatles were like my obsession for years. My love for Zeppelin will endure always. I was like jamming to 3 last night and having a great time cooking dinner.
Yeah. Zeppelin's great.
Pink Floyd, all of it, right? Yeah. My dad says I was conceived after a Rolling Stones show.
That's cool.
I think it's very apropos,
It's awesome.
So really into classic rock, but I was also really into Dave Matthews.
Okay.
He was like my gateway drug.
Okay.
Maybe you should say my gateway band.
There's nothing wrong with Dave Matthews. He gets so much hate. It's like, it's so funny, these jam band beefs, like Dave Matthews, Widespread Panic. It's so funny because it's just music. But I totally get why you want to whisper Dave.
No, I have some very, very dear friends who I got into Dave Matthews that are, she's doing Dave and Tim in Mexico the week before, we all go for Phish.
Yeah.
Like, Rachel, you get me into Dave Matthews, and just as I'm getting into him, you abandon me.
You jump ship. If it makes you feel any better, I'm not lying. On my Spotify, just this week, look, it still shows up. You can see the Dave Matthews Band logo.
Oh, yeah. Check out that fire dancer.
Yeah. Yeah. So I still sneak in some Dave Matthews every now and then, too.
And if I hear him on Sirius, it depends on the song. I'll keep him on for old time's sake and give my friend Cindy a call. Like, Cindy, I listened to Dave and he made me think of you.
Yeah. He's got good songs.
But okay. So anyway, again, you can see I'm getting us down a little rabbit hole.
Oh no, I love rabbit holes. Let's go.
So into Dave Matthews, saw him a bunch in high school, and right after I graduated, Natalie came into my life, and Natalie remains one of my dearest family members. She went to the same high school as I did, graduated a year ahead. But we didn't hang out much until we started college. She was attending the local community college with my friend Cindy, the Dave Matthews Band, fan. Yeah. And I remember going over to Cindy's house, hang out on a Friday, and Natalie's on the porch. And I'm like, where did you come from? Like, I wasn't really friends with her. I was kind of intimidated. But she slowly became a member of my friendship group, and Nat would question all the time, why are you guys listening to Dave Matthews? Phish is so much better.
Okay.
And it took us a while to acquiesce, but she started bringing around some studio albums. So I remember listening to Lawn Boy and Rift, and I remember borrowing the CDs from her. Hoist. I remember driving home from school listening to Hoist, and just cranking Axla up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it was like baby steps, you know? I also remember listening to Rift at my parents' house, getting ready to go out on a Friday night, and I thought Fast Enough for You, it reminded me so much of Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
That I was like, yeah, okay, I'm ready.
Like,
Let's do this, you know?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of the studio albums until we were able to get to see them at Hampton.
Okay.
But I guess coinciding along with that slow entry into Phish, I started working at this call center in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, called the Order People.
The Order People?
The Order People.
So is this call center, is that like the scam calls that we get on our phones every day? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I used to do customer service for Coach handbags and
Wow.
auto credit for people with bad credit trying to get car loans. But you know, at this call center, it was just a bunch of young heads working at it. So it was just super organic. You know, I'm getting into Phish. I'm meeting all these people who are into this music. I forgot to say, but back in July of 2000, so a month after I graduated high school, Phish and Friends was playing at Montage Mountain.
Oh, cool.
Bob Dylan was opening up for him. I did not know who Phish was at the time. I knew the Grateful Dead very, very casually, like their radio songs.
Yeah, just didn't know the band members.
But I knew I wanted to go to the show to see Bob Dylan. So I ended up going to the show. Was really disappointed in Bob's set, but once Phil and his friends started to play, I was like, I know all these songs. You know, what is this? I ran into a high school friend who was like, this is Grateful Dead, Rachel, you know?
Yeah.
So I also remember leaving that show like arm in arm with the two friends I had gone with, and we stumble upon Shakedown for the first time, and I had never seen Shakedown before.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, I didn't understand what you said. I thought you said chickdom. I was
like, sorry.
Yeah. Shakedown. Gotcha. Yeah.
So stumbling across Shakedown for the first time, and like this, I was like, where did this circus come from?
Yeah.
There's this village that just built up in the parking lot.
What is this, a flea market?
Yeah, right? Somebody's trying to sell me ganja balls. Somebody's trying to sell me acid.
Yeah.
So I was equal parts freaked out, but also fascinated.
Yeah.
So you know, that got a curiosity going, so that, you know, you fast forward 6 months, a year later, and I'm starting to get into Phish, and then I'm working at this call center with all these fans. You know, it was just,
it's like a perfect storm.
Well, it was like it was meant to be. Like I'm a huge fan in like these signs from the universe and things just working out and I feel like it just worked out so perfectly. Like it was meant to be, you know?
It's like a slow build.
Yeah. Yeah. Slow build Piper right there.
Yeah, exactly. I miss those. That's awesome though. And it's funny because, you know, everyone's story is different, you know, and that's something that I'm seeing like after starting this podcast. It's like, oh yeah, no, someone handed me a CD or a tape, you know, going way back when, or, you know, I heard it on the radio or whatever, you know. And it's really cool, you know, seeing the amount of people that start with the studio albums and then the people that started with like just a first show. Like hearing like, you know, a recording or whatever it may be. So out of those studio albums that you had, which one, I know you mentioned a few like Rift and Hoist. Did you have like after you started getting more into it, like a favorite that you wound up going to more, or were they all just kind of in rotation?
I don't remember a favorite album listening to, but I do remember one of my first favorite songs, which has now been regarded as a bathroom song for years now.
Okay.
But I loved Sample, which kind of makes sense. I feel like it's just a really good entry song.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just like standard,
Yeah.
like a rock and roll song.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I remember that. And like I said earlier, I really remember like jamming to Axla.
Yeah.
So maybe Hoist would have been,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
number one go-to.
Yeah. It's a solid one. And then after this slow build of like getting into Phish and everything clicks and you see him for the first time, how far after those Hampton shows was it like instantly, hey, now this band is going to get all of my money anytime that they're within driving distance? Like, or was it was instant for you?
Instant. Well, it helped that
you're in a good location.
Friends was also had the same amount of zeal for it and the location, right?
Yeah.
But like Natalie and I ended up being roommates in college. And she was always like, just get in the car, we're going. Okay, all right, let's go then.
Yeah. How can you not?
Yeah.
And so after, fast forward to since the first time you saw Phish to where we're at right now.
Yeah.
What if you can pick one? This is the hard question. If you can pick one jam, your favorite jam of all time, I like to say like the deserted island. Like you get to take one jam with you. You can only listen to it for the rest of your life. That's the only Phish you get. What are you going with?
Well, this will be easy for me.
Okay.
Because I just recorded an attendance bias with Brian.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, and we talked about my favorite jam.
Okay.
It's The Simple from Dick's 2014.
The Simple from Dick's 2014.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. So I guess that's a shameless plug for Brian's show. And like, if anyone's interested in, it hasn't premiered yet, but the entire episode, once we get past my book nerdery, is all about The Simple from 2014. And I said to Brian, and I'll say to you, like, it's a great jam, but it just was a very, the memories attached to that and that Dick's run just are really significant, like even where I am in life right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's a solid one. And I remember it's so funny because whenever I ask that question, sometimes I'll get like some answers that like you're like, oh yeah, everybody knows that jam. Sometimes I'll get some answers where I'm like, oh, what is that? I'm gonna have to look that up and re-listen to it. But with being at all of the Dick's runs, that Simple from 2014, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What is your favorite jam of all time?
Oh, flipping the script. Wasn't ready for that. Mine changes just like everyone's does.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me right now, which you just did, I'm gonna go with the Denver 97 Ghost.
That gets a lot of serious play.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it really, like, I wouldn't call myself a runner by any means, but whenever I do, go to the gym or, decide to run, that's one of those songs to where whenever you start out, if you hit it right, start it right whenever you start your workout or whatever, you get into that 11-minute mark to where you're like maybe 1.5 miles in and you're like, oh my God, I'm struggling. The runner's high is worn off and then they kick into that bliss, like, you know what I'm talking about. I can't even describe it. It's just like the trills from Trey and everything. And it just puts you, I'm like, okay, I can run 17 more miles. Let's go. But yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite right now. That's what I would go with.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Solid, man.
Yeah. It's a good one.
This is not Phish related, but running related.
Okay. Are you a runner?
I'm not a runner. I have bad knees from birth, but there have been times in my life where I fancied myself getting into running.
Mm-hmm.
And I would play on repeat TV on the radio's Wolf Like Me.
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, well, next time you need like a 5-minute burst of energy. Okay. Yeah.
Let me make a note.
Actually, you should do yourself a favor. And I can't believe I just said that. Forgive me. Let's rewind 3 seconds.
I say that all the time.
Again, things are coming out of my mouth and out of my fingers. And I'm like, who have I become?
Wait, what did you say it was again? TV on the radio?
So TV on the radio. But I've been listening to this pretty consistently lately. They have an extended Letterman performance from 2011.
Okay.
It's like 30 minutes long, but you have to hit each one differently on YouTube. But it's if you're not familiar with TV on the radio,
not really.
This will be like
your gift
excellent.
to me.
Yeah, this will be like the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. And you said it's Wolf what?
Wolf Like Me.
Wolf Like Me.
Yeah.
I will check it out. I always love discovering new music. And I know that TV on the radio is not new by any means, but they're going to be new to me because I know that they exist, but I've never really went down, experienced them. But yeah, I'm in. I'm down. And this will be this is kind of an interesting song, or not song, but question, because hearing how you came into discovering Phish, the slow drip, if you will.
Yeah.
Would you, if you were getting someone into Phish, would you go that same route, or would you show them a certain show? Would you give them a certain album? How would you show Phish to someone that's never experienced Phish before?
I think the really important thing to consider is what they like to listen to.
100%.
So like if they like rock, I would give them certain rock songs. If they like funk, I'm going to give you these songs. If you just like weird, I'm going to give you these songs. So I think it's a case by case like scenario.
It is. It is.
Like I would love to get people into the super weird Phish, but everyone's not ready
scare them
for
off.
that, Like my neighbor, I'm pointing at his house. Your neighbor over there is a huge music fan. He's a musician. He's really into Guster and Springsteen.
Okay, gotcha.
He went to see Phish for the very first time at Dick's. He went to Sunday's show. And I mean, that Dick's second set is like, might have been my favorite set that I saw this summer. But
from this last year? Yeah.
Yeah. But that had to have been very strange for him,
Yeah.
He's like sitting in front of me. And I was like, this is why we go to all these shows, man, because of this.
Yeah. You're like, he's like looking around. You're like, no, this is it.
Yeah.
So what you said, he like listens to like Guster and stuff like that. Was he familiar with the Grateful Dead or jamming at all? Or was this just kind of like mind blowing?
We've been neighbors for the past 5 years and we're friends. And we listen to a lot of different music together. So he had a familiarity, but had never experienced them live before.
Never dove in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What a great show for him to get.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they say never miss a Sunday show.
Yeah.
This one is kind of the opposite of that. We all have, and you mentioned like a bathroom song earlier with Sample in a Jar. What is that one song for you that you would be okay with never hearing again?
Other than Sample?
Yeah.
I'm a small woman and I'm well hydrated. I need to pee all the time. So like,
Yeah. I guess a better way to ask the question is like, what's the one Phish song that you don't like?
Oh God.
It's hard.
It is, because I could go super generic and say like the line, but everyone's expecting that.
Yeah.
All right. This will get a lot of backlash.
Okay. I like it. Controversy is good.
Lots of backlash. But
we're going viral.
I'm sorry. AC/DC bag.
No way.
See, I'm getting the backlash
already.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. What about that song doesn't do it for you?
I shouldn't say it doesn't do it. You put me in a corner.
I did. Now you got to fight your way out.
I know.
Is it?
No, wait. I'm going to take it back.
Okay.
All right. I have friends who make fun of me because I do not like this song. But I hate when they encore with Character Zero.
Really?
Yeah. And I could give like.
Okay.
I have friends who are like, I love the camaraderie. Like you just get to yell along with everyone.
Yeah. And it's like ending on a high note, like high energy. What is it about that song that you don't like?
I can't pinpoint it. It'll
can't
come
pinpoint
to me
it?
2 hours from now, and I'll be like, I should have said this. But,
Yeah. Send me a text message.
yeah.
This is why I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a few different things, because even with some songs that I like, and this sounds so weird to say, but like, you know, if you break out, because if you zone it in while you're at Phish, and then you break out and you got to kind of take that moment to like look around and like see what everyone's doing, you know, it's usually like a really good experience. You're like, oh my God, this is awesome. Everybody's on the same page.
Character zero, you know? Like,
yeah.
You come out or everyone's just screaming. Yeah.
But I'm kind of with you. There will be some times where I'll like break out and like I'll look around, and some things that I see will just like make me cringe. And I'm like, and it feels so weird to say that, because I'm a part of the collective, you know, and I'm like, I love being on the same vibe with everybody. But there's those few times where like I'll break away and I'll be like, what are we doing? I don't know if it's like a song that I'm not like super into or what, but I will break away and I'll be like, man, what are all these nerds doing here? And I'm one of them. I'm one of them.
But do you have any specific memories of this happening?
They're all like really fleeting. I don't have like a specific memory where I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. But it's kind of like that same thing of like complaining about traffic while you're in traffic. You know, it's like you're just complaining about yourself. You're like, what are all these people doing on the road at the same time? And you're one of them.
I think when you're a passenger in the car, you bitch about the pedestrians. Like, why are you crossing the street? Here I come. But
they're like people on bikes.
You know, when you're a pedestrian, it's like, car, why are you going? You're supposed to wait for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's always the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's so funny. Like, that's just, I feel like that's part of human nature. Like the hypocrisy of, you know, on whatever side you're on, whether you're walking or driving, the other side is completely wrong.
I mean, I write about that all the time. Like, to be human is to just contradict constantly.
And isn't that weird? That's just like part of the human condition, is contradicting yourself.
Yeah, I think we're allowed to do that. We're fluid. We're allowed to change.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay, so you recanted on Bag and you're going with Character Zero.
Character Zero.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Was not expecting that one.
Listening. Sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I'm a woman with opinions.
That's good. That's good. Well, I guess before we get into this, have you ever met anyone in the band? Have you ever met a band member?
No, and I don't know what I would do. I get starstruck.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. And it's one of those things to where you're like, I know for a fact, I can sit here right now and say, oh, I would play it cool and just be like, hey man, you know, love your music, you know, changed my life. I can sit here and say that and lie to you. But if I were to see any member, I'm going complete fan mode.
I'd probably cry.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the picture now. I met Billy Strings a couple years ago.
Oh, that's wicked. I've been on a Billy Strings kick. His new album's great.
He's oh my God. I was just saying to someone last night, I've said this several times. Getting into Billy Strings reminds me of when I was first getting into Phish. Like,
it's a similar experience.
Yeah. But you know, when I met him a couple of years ago, I didn't know what to say to him. I just hugged him. I said, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanking me for coming. I'm just like, thank you. You know?
I love you.
So yeah, I get totally starstruck, which is absurd.
Okay, with that being known,
if
you could hang out with any member of Phish, who would it be and why?
All right, so I love Paige. Paige has always been my number one.
Really?
But I love the Keys. Like, that's what my ears just, any band, it's just what they gravitate towards. But Fishman.
Yeah. That's out of the 9 episodes that I've done, that's the overall consensus. I might need to find a better question. Yeah, Fishman, it's kind of hard, like, especially with all of us that are so familiar with the band and like their personalities. Even though we don't know them, we feel like we do know them. Fishman is like the clear go-to. Like, if you're just like wanting to hang out and like go to a bar or something, he's the guy.
Guaranteed laughs and ridiculous stories.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then who would be second on the list for you?
Paige.
Paige.
Yeah, we'd go. I feel like they're probably pretty opposite.
Yeah.
Paige just seems, and I'm not laid back. I'm super jealous of very chill and laid back people. And Paige just strikes me as completely that, you know.
Yeah, I feel like he's really introverted. I feel
Mhm.
like he's not the guy that you want to go out and, you know, have a great conversation with. And he could be very well spoken, but from everything that we've seen, I just don't get that vibe.
I think he is probably a man of little words, but the things he has to say are pretty profound.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he's rocking some great shirts nowadays.
Oh my! So my husband, ever since Paige started wearing all those great shirts, my husband is now also a man who sports great button-down shirts. I think he's been inspired by Paige. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's always nice, and it's always funny, like, you know, whenever like the webcasts are on, like you're doing Couch Tour, and then like if you get on Twitter, like while the show's on, it's so funny because now like people will be talking about the set list and things like that too. But another big thing that everyone's talking about is what the band members are wearing, and they'll like find it within a matter of like minutes. They're like, oh, here's the shirt that he's wearing, and it's from like some like super high-end brand. It's like an $800 shirt. It's like a shirt with octopuses on it. Like,
I love that. That's the first shirt I thought of. I love that octopi shirt.
It's a good one.
I want
it's stuck in both of our brains. Yeah, but it's like $800. It's crazy.
Well, okay. I was just saying, I keep on saying I was just saying this, but I did just say this last night too.
Yeah, I believe it.
I remember the show I was at where like my jaw dropped and I was like, when did Paige get glasses?
Really?
Yes. It was MPP. If it was either 2011 or 2012 that that was the first time I noticed him wearing glasses. And I like, oh my God, Paige is wearing glasses.
Well, hold on. You're kind of blowing my mind right now because I can't. It's like that. What's the thing called to where people remember something differently, but it doesn't exist? Like a group of people, like will have a shared experience in life, but it's not real. Do you know what I'm talking about? What is that called?
No, but I'm gonna have to find it out.
Oh my gosh, I have to look it up now.
You're tripping. It's gonna. Everybody's on psychedelics.
Shared group experience. It's not real. Why is this not? Oh, what is this called? I'm gonna be so mad after
You're just making it up.
Yeah, after I post this episode and then I remember what it's called. But either way, I'm having that situation right now because I can't tell. If you were to tell me to draw a picture of Paige right now,
yeah,
I wouldn't know whether to put glasses on him or not. I can't tell you if he wears glasses or not. I feel like I can see him and he's always wearing glasses. And then I feel like I see him and he's never worn glasses. So he does wear glasses? This is so weird to me. Has he always worn them
over the years too? He started wearing glasses, like I said, I think in summer toward 2011 or 2012. But I remember being on the lawn at MPP and like saying to my friends, "Oh my God, Paige got glasses!" I wear glasses. I have my contacts in right now, but I'm a blind person. And
oh my gosh,
you know, I always and as a former teacher to little ones who would wear glasses, I would always say all the cool kids wear glasses, you know, to make them feel better. So
yeah, it's like the like on Billy Madison. It's like,
oh yeah, everyone
the cool kids. Yeah, not cool unless you pee your pants.
So I took care to notice when Paige joined the cool kids club and his glasses wearing. Yeah.
No, you kind of blew my mind.
Well, you did say this was going to be a special episode, so I'm glad we're bringing it to fruition.
Yeah, and I'm going to feel so silly, but I'm not going to edit any of this out. But I do feel silly because it's like I have no idea if he wears glasses or not, but he does. He hasn't always. It's bizarre.
It's all about the music, not the visuals. Well, it is. Well, it is with the light show, but you know.
To be fair, my eyes are closed a lot of the time at the shows. Now let's get into the fun part. I always like to make a chunk of these talking about memories from tour.
Yeah.
So do you have, I mean, I know that you do, but what are like some of those top memories to where you're like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing that happened.
Yeah.
Break them down and share it with the world.
Okay, I have a couple. And
Yeah,
I got permission from some people to speak of these.
Oh, you already asked. That's good.
I wanted to get permission.
Yeah.
Well, okay, one I didn't need permission for. So New Year's 2012,
Okay.
my friends, this is when the Garden still did chairs in the pit for the first, I don't know, 20 rows or so.
See, I've never been.
I haven't been in a long time either. It was a lot easier when I lived on the East Coast, and it's a little bit more difficult, with the location now.
Sure.
But back in 2012, my friend scored 4 New Year's tickets in the lottery, 4th row.
Okay.
But there was 5 of us. But she ended up like stubbing me down like through the whole process. We had to go through, I don't know how many checkpoints, 3 or 4 checkpoints, and I just trailed back. And as soon as she showed her ticket, she would hurry up and like hand it behind her, So that was the year they did Steam for the New Year.
Cool.
So hanging out 4th row to ring in the New Year, how could it not be a great experience, right?
Exactly.
But the one I really wanted to talk about comes from Summer Tour 2016. Okay, so just to give some backstory.
Yep.
This involves my brother, and so my
older
brother,
or younger?
He's younger. He's a couple years younger. He was always a biscuits kid. Being from Pennsylvania, and he stayed in. He was around Pennsylvania when the biscuits were really up and coming. So he saw a shit ton of biscuit shows until I don't know what year he made the switch, and he's like, "Yeah, Phish is better," So we've been able to partake in several Phish shows together. He lives in Los Angeles, so whenever Phish is at the Forum, we always go. So my brother, his name's Mike. He's getting married in July.
Congrats, Mike.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. We never thought he was going to get married. He was always very staunchly anti-marriage. You're crazy for getting married. But, he's been with the same woman for 7 years now.
Nice. Taking the leap.
And she's from Michigan, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So in 2016, he was dating Betsy for about a year. Mesh, my husband, and I had plans to do the night at the Forum, and then we were heading down to Chula Vista. Forum was a Friday night show. Chula was a Saturday night show. My brother and Betsy and a bunch of their friends were joining us for Friday night show, but Mesh and I were just heading down to San Diego solo. So we did that Friday night show. It was probably the worst show of the tour, but we still had a good time. So the next day before Mesh and I hit the road, we met Mike and Betsy and some other friends for lunch, and we're trying to cajole them to join us. Come on, we have a hotel room. You'll be able to get tickets, no problem. And the entire time, they're like, it's all right. It's all right. The Forum show, the Friday night Forum show was Betsy's first Phish show.
Oh, cool.
So as Mesh and I are getting in the car and pulling out, they start yelling out, wait for us, we're coming with you.
It's the last minute decision, huh?
So they don't even like stop and get like a change of clothes or anything. They get in the car and the clothes are, and they're like, okay, we're heading to this show. Just
super unprepared. We're going.
Okay. Yeah. So have you been to, it's not called the Sleep Train anymore. I think it's I know it's NICU stands for something, but that venue in Chula Vista?
No, I haven't been there. The only venue on the West Coast that I've been to is the Gorge.
Yeah. Oh, well, best one.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I haven't been there.
It's a sweet venue. It's big. It's near the ocean. You get a really nice ocean breeze from it.
Very cool.
I don't know why I'm saying that. It's just it has nothing to do with the story.
You're a writer. You're painting
the picture. Yeah. Just feel the ocean breeze, and there's something there's something about those Southern California shows. They're just so different. They're just so chill and laid back,
Different vibe.
Yeah,
Sure.
completely. Yeah. So before we headed into the show, Mike and Betsy ended up getting some chocolates, and they didn't eat all of them before heading into the show. So Betsy shoved her chocolate into the sock of her, and she had a sneaker on over it.
Are we talking cannabis or are we talking mushrooms?
I'll let everyone choose their own adventure.
Okay. I like it. I like it. So she sticks it in her sock.
She sticks it in her sock, and we head into the venue. Oh, but before she sticks it in her whatever chocolate she consumed before the show, she's talking and smiling, and she just has chocolate smeared all over her face.
Oh God, okay.
So she shoves the remaining bit in her sock. Took us forever to get into the venue. I don't think we walked in until maybe 3 songs in. And by the time we get into the venue and she takes the chocolate out, it's melted all over her foot.
Yeah. We all saw that one coming.
But, the show starts. It makes up for the stinker that was the night before.
Sure.
Everyone's having a great time, feeling the effects of the chocolates, whatever they may be.
Mm-hmm.
Set break happens, and the 4 of us journey over to the concessions. My brother's talking about how he could go for some French fries. So we end up in conversation, me, Mike, and Mesh, and Betsy disappears.
Oh, God.
We have no idea where she went to. And this is Phish show number 2. She hasn't really experienced,
the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. The crowd before. Mike and Mesh start freaking out. Oh my God, where's Betsy? Where's Betsy? I kind of take off skipping, yelling out Betsy's name. Betsy, where are you? Where are you? Come back. Can't find her. The 3 of us are like, oh my God, what are we going to do? When all of a sudden, Betsy shows up with a tray of food for everyone.
Oh, nice. MVP, Betsy.
And that, it was, my brother was a year into the relationship. I had met Betsy a couple times, but this is when I really learned, oh God, Betsy, you're awesome. You're a good sport. Look at that. You just molded into this community.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome,
Yeah. I can see why they're getting married now.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, we got to lock this in.
Yeah. We've had several Phish experiences since, but for that being one of the first, I love that memory. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, and I couldn't help but think whenever you said that your brother was like, I want some French fries. Immediately I thought fish and chips, but I didn't want to cut you off, but I had to get that in there.
Are you a fan of fish and chips?
Oh, I love fish and chips.
Vinegar? Do you do a lot of vinegar?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
malt vinegar? Yeah. Okay. Give me all of it. Yeah.
All right.
You got another memory from tour that you want to share or that you're allowed to share?
This one is funny. This is from the Gorge this past year. It's short, but we went camping with a large group of people. There's 15
That's the only way to do it.
Us. It was just random people, just the 3 degrees of separation. And one of the guys we were camping with, I'm forgetting his name. But his name's not important. What is important is his story. He's a dad from Southern California with 2 young kids. His wife was home with the kids, so he was
solo.
Yeah, dad's on vacation.
Yeah, it's on a work trip.
I don't think he slept the entire, 4 days we were there. He was catching little cat naps here and there. He would fall asleep in his camp chair for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So he had a story for us when we were packing up on Monday morning. He said sometime towards dawn on Monday morning, he went to the porta pot, sat down, and I guess he passed out in the porta pot. He woke up. He doesn't know how long he was in there for, but he was in there long enough so that his feet fell asleep.
Oh my God. And
he had to wait to regain feeling to be able to make his exit from the porta potty.
What a place to be stuck. And it's we've all been there, right? It's you're on the toilet, on your phone, you get caught up on your phone. You're like, oh my God, my legs are asleep. But like being stuck in a porta potty like that.
At least it was a honey bucket because, they keep them clean.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, shout out to Honey Bucket. If you guys want to sponsor this podcast, those are the cleanest ones that that I've seen. And like they're trying to like do like, you've seen the ones where they're like, win a free honey bucket, and they're like playing games on social media and stuff. I'm like,
I'll take one of those.
Yeah, do your thing. I don't know where I'll put it, but I'll take one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Before we wrap up here, I want you to be able to plug whatever it is that you are working on with your writing. Because with the brief amount of time that we have followed each other on and connected on social media, you said that you are wanting to transition into writing, that being your full-time gig at some point. What are you working on right now? Where can people find your stuff? Do you have anything published? Tell us all about it and where to find it.
Gosh, thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that. Well, okay. So I have several short stories published in different literary journals. You could find that on my Linktree on my Instagram. I don't have a professional writer's website yet. That is on pretty high on my to-do list. But if you want to follow me at Rachael Wesley Writes, and then you could see that there. I've also had the opportunity to write several stories and do an interview with Andy Thorne, who plays banjo for Leftover Salmon.
Cool.
Yeah. And that was for the website Tour Stories. And you could see my links on there. Or you could also go to Tour Stories, I should know this better, .net, I think, or
tourstories.net.
.org. But you could also find them on Instagram.
Okay.
And also, beginning next week, I start the next step in, I call it my author's journey. So I have a full 80,000 word manuscript that I wrote. It's very Phish related.
Okay.
It's creative nonfiction, or I like to say, okay, all right, I wrote a memoir, but I like to say creative nonfiction, right?
Sounds cool. Yeah.
And starting next week, I begin trying to connect with and land a literary agent, which will be my bridge to getting it published via traditional publishing. You have a lot of indie authors and independent publishers, but I'm trying this go around to get traditionally published. So next week I begin that part in the journey.
Nice. That's exciting. Well, congrats.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I said congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah. I am riding a roller coaster of emotions. I've been writing it for about 2.5 years. I started it right before Dixon 2019, and it's like the culmination of, man, I don't even know, hundreds of hours of work and rewrites and edits, and I teach full time, so doing this in my
trying to balance both.
Yeah. So yeah.
And did you say what it was called?
So it's called Second Set Chances.
Second Set Chances. I like that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's I don't know if you saw on Instagram. Yeah, I was pitching my hook, my one sentence hook.
Okay.
So here's my one sentence hook. I'll try to remember it from memory. Okay. Weeks before a marriage-saving move to Las Vegas, Rachael removes her wedding ring at a Phish concert, only to run into an old college crush at the show.
Dun, dun, dun.
And that's my hook.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm in. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want everybody to be able to check it out. So once again, if you need to rewind or if you want to plug it again, check her out. All of your Linktree is on your Instagram page. You want to plug your Instagram handle? What's your Instagram? Where can people find you on socials?
So my name will appear to everyone, right? So my name, just make sure you put that AE in it. I'm not an ELer, but an AELer. So it's Rachael Wesley and then Writes.
Rachael Wesley. Wesley Writes.
That's great alliteration. Let's just change my last name for the best. Rachael Wesley Writes. Yeah.
RR.com. There you go. No, that's awesome.
But like I said, I'm hoping in the next couple months to get a professional writer's webpage up and running, and I don't know what that'll contain, but it's on the to-do list. It's a big goal of mine.
You will get it. I know you will.
Yeah.
I believe it. That's awesome. Hey, thank you for taking the time today and sharing your stories and sharing how you got into Phish and sharing where we can find your writing. If you have anyone else that pops in your head that you think would be a good fit for the show, send them my way. And just thank you. Is there anything else that you want to plug before we wrap?
This was just so fun. I love people. I love meeting people, and it's even better when you get to geek out over shared passions.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure we'll cross paths in the future.
Yeah.
I like to say, like, now that we did this, we're considered friends now.
Yeah, we're homies. Yeah, and knowing that you're in Colorado, we're gonna connect at Dick's. We have to. We'll get a photo for the gram, see some Phish together, and by that time, see where you're at on your book journey.
Oh, yeah.
Buy a book from you.
Oh,
here we go.
Do you need a recommendation for your next book?
I do.
Go back to your goals for a book a month, and since you're ahead of schedule,
hit me with it.
Well, like we would ask people what they like to listen to before recommending.
Okay.
A Phish song. What do you like to read?
I like to read. I'm a fan of Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh, yeah.
Blink. Also like Seth Godin. So I don't know if that would fall into like the self-help category, but I like things that inspire me.
I've not read this yet, but my brother told me I needed to buy it, so it's on my gigantic shelf of to-be-read books. Mm-hmm. It is called, let me just look at it, because it's like self-helpy.
Okay.
It's 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson.
Oh, Jordan Peterson. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 12 Rules for Life. Mike was raving about it when he read it. I've had it on my bookshelf for about a year and haven't touched it.
Cool.
I also like to, I'm rereading, I don't know if you've read John Krakauer yet. Mm-mm. I think he's phenomenal. If you're going for nonfiction, I'm rereading Under the Banner of Heaven, which goes into the crazy fundamentalist side of Mormonism.
Oh, I'm sure that's interesting.
Oh, it's so good. And if you're looking for some fiction, one of the best books that I finished off last year with was called The Dog Stars by Peter Heller.
Dog Stars?
Yeah. It's post-apocalyptic. Ooh. After a flu decimates the entire population, and it takes place in Colorado. So it was really cool for me to read it and know all the places, but
this is starting to sound like a Black Mirror episode.
Oh,
did you say a flu?
But like, it made me cry in several different parts, both out of sadness and out of happiness. And it's a book that makes you feel good to be alive and be human, even when it's talking about the end of the world. It's beautiful.
That's the stuff I'm into. Dog Stars by who?
Peter Heller.
Peter Heller.
Yeah, but trigger warning, there are some things that will make you cry out of sadness.
Okay. Hey, that's a new experience that I've never had before. I've never cried while reading a book. I've cried during movies, obviously. I've cried listening to music. But never with a book.
Phish show? I cry at every Phish show.
Oh, I haven't cried at every Phish show, but I've definitely cried. 1 year at Dick's, they wound up playing on my actual birthday, because it's usually on my birthday weekend, that Labor Day weekend. But that Sunday show, 2014, 15. No, it's 2015. 2015. That Sunday show was September 6th, and that's whenever they spelled out.
The thank you encore.
Yeah, the thank you encore. Yeah. And that's whenever I was like, I'm not crying. Thank you. But yeah, it's a fun experience.
Yeah. I like feeling those emotions,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see if that book can make me cry. I've never cried while reading
or
it,
like, so. If you want, I've had a lot of people in the Phish community reaching out. Like I begrudgingly adopted social media because it's something I need to do as a writer. And it took me a while to use it correctly and get into it. And I've started to enjoy it more for connection purposes and just meeting people.
Yep.
And it's pretty recently that I just have various people in the Phish community reaching out to me like, do you have a book to recommend? I have a book recommendation for you. And I love it. And like, this is the point of social media. So
yeah, you can't get bogged down by all of the other bullshit on there because there's a lot of it. But there are some really good parts.
Yeah.
Like this podcast coming to fruition.
Yeah, this is so great. So
yeah.
I guess I want you to report back on TV on the radio.
Yep.
And these books, especially the Dog Stars.
Dog Stars, got it.
All right, so you got to hit me up with a recommendation for something that I need to get back to you. Could be anything.
I don't feel like books would be my go-to for you because you're going to know more books than me. Let me think. Music-wise, something that I might be into that you're not. Oh man, you put me on the spot. This is what it feels like to be put on the spot.
I'm sorry.
I'm doing it to everyone every episode, and then when it gets to me, I don't know what to do.
I mean, you give us a heads up with a list of questions to anticipate. So
yeah, I think I did the heads up. Yeah. Actually, no. Yeah, I'll go with how we started this.
Okay.
The book, The Alchemist.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one to check out. It was one of those ones to where, because I'm that guy that if I start like a TV show or anything, I can't stop. Like it's like if I watch the first episode and I'm like, oh, that was really interesting, I just know I'm going to be up until 4 a.m. whether I have to work the next day or not. I'm trying to get through it as fast as possible, like no breaks. And that's exactly how I was with this book. Like I was up every night until basically the sun was coming up, just like trying to read it. Thank God it only took me a couple of days because I was just like getting no sleep. I couldn't put it down. But it's really good. The Alchemist. Check it out.
I have it written down. All right. I will get back to you on that then.
Cool. I love it. This has been a fun episode.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you. And I will see you on tour. For sure at Dick's.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Look at this extra special number 9.
Special number 9. All right. Thanks again, Rachel. Appreciate
you. This is so great.
It's great.
Have a great weekend.
I'll see you soon. You too.